In this next segment, we're going to add some styling and a master layout to our application. So to do that, I'm going to keep a browser open on the right so that we can see the changes as we make them. So the first thing we can do is to start up our development server. I'll open up another tab here and just type iron. And what that will do is run the Meteor app with the correct settings. Once that starts up, we should be able to refresh the browser and see our changes as we make them to the app. All right, back in the source code, the template that we're looking at right now is under the client folder in templates. And if you open up the home folder, you'll see the default home template that was created and is being rendered for us automatically. Let me show you around the client folder a little bit more. The first thing to look at is this head HTML file. As you may have guessed, this is where all of the head HTML goes in our page. And we can change things like the title or add meta descriptions here. The next thing to look at is the style sheets folder, and that's where you can put any application-wide style sheets. You can also put style sheets with specific templates by just adding a less file for the template itself. But I find it's easier to put most of the template or most of the style sheet related stuff into one folder called style sheets. So let's open up main.less, and I'm going to paste in some style sheets that I've already created, or some styles that I already created. Let's make sure that all got pasted in. And you can go through and look at this yourself, but once this saves, we should be able to create a nice looking application. Next up, let's look at layouts. So inside of the template folder, there's another folder called layouts. And a layout lets us reuse some HTML across multiple pages, so we don't have to cut and paste or copy and paste HTML in every single page that we go to in our app. So it's just like a regular template. If I open up masterlayout.html, you can see there's actually a template called master layout, and it even has its own JavaScript file where we can add helpers and events. Right now, it's pretty straightforward, this master layout. It just yields a child template into its body. And what that means is this outer template gets rendered first as the layout, and then wherever this yield helper appears, that's where our child template, in this case the home template, is going to go. So what we can do is to add some HTML around here. For example, I might say layout. And when that refreshes, notice that the layout HTML shows up in the app, and then the child template gets rendered right below it. All right, to save some time, I've pasted in some HTML, but I'll walk you through it. I moved the yield helper down here at the bottom, and that's where our home template is going to get rendered. So you see we still have a home template being rendered here. It's telling us to find it here. But I've added some other styling around this, so we want to reuse on multiple applications, or multiple pages rather. So for example, I have this breadcrumbs area up here where we can show the user where they are in the app. Right now we're on the home page. So I'm using a little bit of Bootstrap styling here by adding Bootstrap classes. And here's where the breadcrumbs area goes. And above that, there's an area for the login buttons. I need to change this class to say login buttons instead of log. And when we add in the login buttons, we'll go ahead and put them there. And then around all of that is a container, and that gives us this nice spacing here, which centers this in the middle with a certain width. So this is all styling that we don't want to have to apply to every single child template. We just want to put it in one place in the layout and have it apply to whichever child templates decide to use this layout. So this is a nice mechanism to reuse HTML. Now, this yield region is where our child template is going to render, but it would be nice to be able to render HTML to different places in the layout, and you can do that by using named yield regions. So for example, on each page, we might have different breadcrumbs. So we'll let the child page decide what goes into the breadcrumbs area, and we can use a named yield region to do that. So I'll just provide the name as a second parameter. So let's just call this breadcrumbs. And then the child template can provide content for this particular region using a content for helper, which I'll show you in a sec. Now we didn't provide a name to this yield. You don't have to. It's automatically by default called the main or default region. And this is where the main template will go into. And then if that template happens to provide some breadcrumbs content that will get put right here. So nothing so far is going into the breadcrumbs area because we haven't actually rendered any content to it. If we go to the home template, that's the child template that's being rendered right now, we could add some content for that area by using the content for helper. And notice I'm using the block syntax here with the pound symbol. That means there's going to be some HTML in between. We'll say that this is content for the breadcrumbs area. And for now, why don't I just say hello world so you can see that it works. Okay, so it's putting this hello world text into the breadcrumbs area. And let's see why it's not actually... Oh, actually, we want to put this here so that it shows up as a list item. And now our hello world string appears where it's supposed to, and we were able to add that content by doing it directly in the child template in this content for block. Now notice this HTML here automatically gets put into the main yield region. We don't have to use the content for block for this. Now it wouldn't make much sense to have a hello world breadcrumb here since we're already on the home page, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this, but hopefully it shows you how we're able to take content from a child template and put it into different areas of the layout.